So it was a few months, and it just worked perfectly to where she and I were ready to go when we did, and that was a brutal deployment.
And is that your first deploy? Is that the deployment in '06 that's covered in the documentary?
Yes, that's the first one. She and I went on two. She was killed on the second one, but yeah, that first one we had over 50% casualties, not killed, but in our group.
Let's talk about that deployment where you had 50%. Did you say 50% casualties?
Yeah, we just had a list on the whiteboard of there was three or four killed. That was summer of '06, and then all the shot and wounded was it came to over 50% of our squadron.
That's that's absolutely insane. For the audience listening to this, that means 50% of the guys there were either wounded or killed in action, which is a staggering number. Is the reason for that that you guys are just doing the frequency of the hits is just it's such a high level that you're taking contact on a regular basis?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just, we got this target deck we're trying to get to. So you go out on something, it leads to another, in 100 days, you're doing 90, 100, hits, not including follow on. So it's just nonstop every night. It's great. I mean, but yeah, at the beginning too, it was just, we're figuring them out. They're figuring us out. I think I heard Chile say in one of your interviews that they're smarter. Maybe it was Jesse, they know what they're doing. It's a different kind of war, but yeah,
Chile had said they had come up with some pretty ingenious ways to figure out how to kill Americans, and that
yep,
they had to adapt. I think, and then Chile's exact quote, and I apologize if he's watching this, I get it wrong, that it forced the Americans to adapt and get a little more violent because all the suicide bombings, all the booby traps they were laying out. Is that the same experience you had as well?
yeah. And I had to be taught that by my team leader, I'm like sort of, going with our culture, we'd have some detainees and I'm like, okay, guys, like my team leader's like, hey, like you just said, speed, surprise, violence of action. If we sacrifice any of those, you have to make it up somewhere else. So there's pretty much no more surprise. And yeah, we can go with speed, but yeah, they figured out how to stop us because
How
the
did
dog
you
engages.
How did you personally handle being on a team that lost 50% of its or had a 50% casualty rate? I mean, that must weigh on your mind and your heart. Or is it a thing where you don't have time to think about it because you're just constantly going back out there?
It's actually like a prideful thing. Like we don't get to choose our wars. And every guy, I guarantee wants something like World War II. Like, I mean, once you get to where we got, we know what we can do. I had nightmares of my own Delta troop coming against me when I got home because there's no chance when a troop hits a building, like you're done. So, um, where were we at?
Just how you handle the trauma of losing that
Oh,
many guys.
it's like a prideful. I mean, we had it on the board. It's just like, okay. I mean, yeah, it hurts, but like, we got to go harder. You know, I came home. My daughter was born in '05. We were on a rotation. I came home for a month. It was awesome. That Delta just loves their people. People are the most important thing. It's the best place in the world to work. We would always say. And I came home and two of my buddies were killed while I was home, and then I come back and another one's killed. So you just go harder. Like that's, are we going to win or not? And yeah, it's like a pride thing, I think.
When your friends die, and we're going to get into the very next thing we're going to talk about, Pepper, the second deployment. But you say you're going harder, but does it become more personal as well? Or is it always just strictly business? Because as a civilian, if someone killed my friends and I had the opportunity to kick in a door, and I'm not trying to be a fake tough guy, I don't do any of that stuff, obviously. But if you killed my family members, if you killed my friends, like it become a personal thing to me. It wouldn't be business anymore. How did you process that?
just like you said, like actually there was a time where, you know, we caught a recidivist. We had captured some guys, tried to put them through their legal system. You know, I remember once there was a ranger that got shot right above his plate right here, and we just got there, and there's this huge puddle of blood, and uh, the guys, you know, we found them and they're surrendering because they won't fight, and they were laughing at us, and that's when I was like, man, this has got to change. You know, hey boss, your intent, commander's intent says kill or capture, right? Yes. Okay. In that order, you know. And I like to ask the question with Osama bin Laden. They shot him. You know, there was no, and nobody disagrees with that,
Right.
right? So what is it? If you kill 3,000 people, that's okay. You know, where's the line for just going in to kill somebody? It's tough freaking business. And somebody said, you know, oh, anybody can kill a caveman. How many cavemen have you killed, sir? Because it's tough and it's not natural, but F yeah, man, like you said, when your friends get killed or a dog gets killed, it's like it's unspoken. I mean, we just get back to our building, we eat, we watch TV, nobody, you know, nobody's talking. And then when we go out again, it's just an unspoken thing. And yes, it's brutal.